Well, hey there, all. I decided to get all wild and crazy and do a live stream on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. I'm kind of avoiding a little work right now. So, since I'm avoiding work, I decided I was going to take care of my phones today. So, there's a ton of game updates going on right now. So, that's what I'm doing. So that's kind of what you're seeing right here is this is this is my unified controller. This is off my this is my Ubiquity AC access point. So before I totally get into all that, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of confusion with a lot of people on some of the networking stuff. And an access point is basically a router. I mean, when most people think of routers, they think of the little boxes with little antennas going on with it. Well, for the most part, that's accurate. But a router is basically split into two things. It's an access point with the Wi-Fi, and it's also a router. So it directs the traffic. Now, with my access point, all that it does is it just picks up the Wi-Fi signals. That's all it does. It doesn't really do anything else. It just directs all that traffic to my Ubiquity router. So why I'm kind of showing you this is my 2.4 gigahertz band. And anytime when I'm updating, because I do have a certain amount of phones that on cache magnet, they're my crappier phones, so they're on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and you can see that I'm running 21 on there. Those aren't all cache magnet. I do have I don't know 5 or 6 Perk phones going on right now on this network. I also have another network as well that I run some other Perk phones on. So in a perfect world, I'm absolutely going to get rid of that all those 2.4 gigahertz phones, because it just they're my crappier phones. They're my Majesty phones, which the Majesty Pros, they're not a bad phone at all. Yeah, especially when I bought them for $10. I wish I would have bought 30, 40 more at the time. But, I didn't. I was, when I got my Majesty Pros, I was fairly new to phone farming, and yeah, like most, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So right now I'm just updating the games and so forth. You actually saw it dip to the yellow there, and that's just because I'm updating only 4 phones right now, and so a couple of them are actually done with their updates, which is awesome finally. And that's the problem with the 2.4 gigahertz phones, is that they take forever to update running the 2.4. My 5 gigahertz phones just roll, because of the bandwidth that they're able to use. So that's kind of it. This is kind of the list of all my devices that I have going on here. And you'll see over here, Um, I'm also hop into this really quick. I'm helping out a couple of guys get a big farm up like mine, and there's a lot of confusion with the IP addresses. And what you're seeing here, these are private IP addresses. These when most people connect a Wi-Fi device to their router, they'll get an IP address assigned like this. Well, what I've done is I've actually assigned these IP addresses to these devices. Now, what you see down here is you see how that's different than all the rest of these. Well, that's different because this is not assigned an IP address like the rest of these. And the reason why that's going on like that is that's one of the Perk phones. I'm pretty sure that's one of the Perk phones. My network is actually the 4 there. That's how I would just type in 192.168.4.1, and that would take me to my router, to my Ubiquity edge router. Now all the rest of these, I actually assigned each one of these phones that IP address. Now these are all internal DHCP. They're private. So what happens from here is, from my phones, it goes through my access point, which is actually hardwired to my edge router. And that's where these private IPs get turned into the public IPs. Now, the public IPs are static addresses, and you get those from your ISP. So I know it sounds confusing, and I get it. And, it can be quite confusing as well. Understanding the difference between a public and a private IP address. So when you look at your phone, go to your Wi-Fi connection, and you can see your IP address that's being handed out via your Wi-Fi, your router. Then on that same phone, go to Google and Google my IP address, and you'll see that it's different. It won't be a 192. It will be your actual IP address for your that your house actually has, that's given out by the ISP. So I know it's confusing, and I get it. When I first started all this, this is way above my head. It made no sense to me whatsoever. But once I got into it more, I understood a lot more. I'm not saying that I absolutely understand networking, because there's quite a bit that I don't understand about it. Right now I'm currently working with a couple of guys, and of getting a bigger farm up and going. I'm going to give a big shout out to Soda Free Entertainment. Soda Free just threw up a video yesterday with I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, that he was putting cache magnet phones on a VPN. And, that part's pretty awesome. You don't have to set up a big thing like I have. There's a certain point where VPNs being small makes sense, because of the expense. The expense of my setup, it's pretty big, and I've shown you guys that before. So along those lines, the VPN it's cheap. It really is. I think most people pay like maybe $2 to $5 to $10 a month on it, and they throw another 4, 8 phones onto it. But you got to remember, like, what the VPN is, that it does pay half of what normal cache magnet does. Which, hey, is half still probably beating like what you would earn off of Perk? I don't know. I don't know if it does or not. You'd have to, and that kind of depends on your phones that you have, on your earnings. With mine, I want to at least hit right around 53 cents per phone per day. That's what I'm looking for. So with the VPNs, you're looking at 26, 27 cents per day, which, can you really get that off of Perk? Without having to do a whole bunch on it. So I see Wambulance has 32 cache magnet phones on his VPN. Buddy, man, you're costing yourself money. Get a setup like mine. I'll show you how. So glad to see some people in the stream. I'm not really good at this. I don't have a second monitor, so I'm actually looking on my phone. So, hi all. Hope you all are having a great Tuesday, or Monday, or Wednesday, for whatever part of the world you live in. So yeah. So that's just kind of that. Another thing that I was going to go over was I actually caught this from Soda Free's stream yesterday. A guy popped in, and this has to do with Perk here. So, and this is the Perk Word Search. So what he said to do to get Perk Word Search to auto run is you actually go into developer options and you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see don't keep activities, and you check that. So I'm like, well, okay, don't even know what it does. Really don't care what it does. Does it work? Yeah, it does. So I actually did this earlier. So I had two of my Perk phones sitting side by side. And so the Perk Word only ran for like 25 minutes, and then you had to hit the button. But since I've been running these, and I've been running these for a number of hours now, and I'm not having to hit anything. So it's looking like it's totally passive. So, well, let's take a look at some of the chat here. The hardware list. Well, that's you go off of all Ubiquiti, and I'll actually show you. This is actually what I'm looking at getting, because I do have a 2-story house and a fairly big house that okay, why can't I click on this? That I have problems getting Wi-Fi downstairs. So I'm actually looking at getting the Pro version of this. I have the other version already, and it's not the Pro version. The other version's cheaper. This is just a longer range. So that's the access point that I use. And Ubiquiti, I'm going to tell you, gosh, if you have problems, it sucks because they don't have a customer service. They have a chat that you can use that totally sucks, and that's if you can actually find the chat. You can use their forums, which their forums, boy, you get a lot of bad information there, especially with a setup like mine. When I was first doing my setup, I went to their forums, and my golly, they didn't understand what I was trying to do. One of the Ubiquiti guys said it was going to cost me $1,000 to do it. Well, the guy was wanting me to spend like $1 zillion on all this Ubiquiti stuff, and I didn't need it. So there's the access point. Now you can go with the cheaper one. Let's see if we can find the cheaper one down here. No. Oh, is that it? Yeah, this is the one that I have. This is the light. And honestly, I don't know if that's part of my issue with the 2.4 gigahertz band, if it's my phones. I don't know exactly what it is. So yeah, that's my access point that I have. Let me see if I can find my. Let's see. Now, what I recommend is the ER4. This was recommended by my tech guy that I have that I actually put some people on track with today, and this is what he recommends: is the ER4. I have the ER5, which I drop connection if I put too many phones on it. I'm not sure. He thinks it might be an internal issue with my ER5, and he's told me to buy the ER4, which at some point I'm going to break down and actually buy it. Ubiquiti's great stuff. It's a little pricey, but not real bad. So, I for a router this good, that's pretty doggone good pricing for it. So I mean that's it. That's my equipment. My modem came from Spectrum. They quote unquote gave it to me for $100 setup fee. So Um, you know, as far as like ISPs, call your ISP, ask them, um, yeah, nah, about what they can get you for IPs. You'll probably have to call their business, but you might also call and even ask about their residential. A guy I talked to who lives in southern New York, right next to Pennsylvania, he actually got six or seven IP addresses for free through his ISP that he never knew, and he got them for free. So So hopefully that helps you guys out with some of that. So, um, so yeah, I was just kind of just killing some time doing this while updating these phones. So I figured I'd hop on, uh, you know, answer some questions in the chat. I mean, feel free to ask me anything. So, the other thing I was gonna go over really quick was um, reading on the Facebook group. And if you guys aren't part of the Cash Magnet Facebook group, the money making apps, it's a pretty good group. I mean, there's some really good people in there. There's definitely some Debbie Downers there too. So okay, so what's kooky expensive? I see you're saying that your internet's would be that expensive. Yeah, Edge Router X. There was one of the guys I was helping him out. He actually had the Edge Router X and was going to use it. I don't know. Um, I know the Edge Router X is a lot cheaper than than the ER4. I think that how much is the X, like $50 or something like that. Let's see, Edge Router X. There we go. I know it's really cheap. Um, yeah, $60. I know that's like $100. Over $100 difference. I'm going to tell you, if you could return it, I would say try it out. But honestly, if you're going to get it, you're going to have to set up right away. I mean, usually have 30 days to return something. Um, I personally wouldn't do it. Your internet would actually be more than what you would make. Wow, now let's take a look at that then. So here's what I made last month. Here's my April earnings. This is off my main account, or my May earnings. 627. Here's my second account with May. So I'm up over 800. And then my last account, and this last account only has two phones on it. So you're looking at 27, 116, 117, 7. No, that's 620. Hold on, I can't add, can I? 727, 816, and then yeah, close to 840. So your internet's going to be that expensive? Come on now. If it is, boy, I feel sorry for you. um, devices per account. Uh, they have it. They have it maxed out at 24. So you can only have 24 per account. So, and you can only have 4 devices per IP address. Once there's people that start out. I was one of them that tried to put 5 on. Well, that doesn't work. So, hey, Tech Hustler, what's going on, man? So, yeah, you can have now. So you can have 24 per account, and you can have as many accounts as you want. I did clear it through Cache Magnet on getting my setup like it is. So, last thing I wanted to do was get banned, and they were all cool with my setup. So, yeah, it depends. I have 52 phones running. Jeez, I don't I don't know if Cache Magnet would go for that. And I honestly don't know if I would even want to do that personally. I mean, yeah, it'd be great pulling down, another 1,000 or so a month, but my gosh, with all the bugs with Cache Magnet already, I'd spend more time. And, I spend maybe an hour a day. Today was different from, dealing with all the game updates. So, I definitely, I spent a lot more than an hour doing it. And, I'm avoiding work, so I didn't mind it. So, the other reason, I'm not bragging about my payments that I'm showing here, how much I'm making. The big thing is I'm trying to show you guys what you guys can do. That you can have a big setup. That it can be done. Until I did it, I didn't know anybody that had more than I think more than a dozen. A guy that I'm working with on Facebook, I think he's got I want to say 66 phones, but it's all on VPN, and he's working towards doing a setup like mine. And of course, before he started, he talked to Cache Magnet to make sure that everything was cool with them. That's the biggest thing is, if you're going to do a big setup, you got to ask, you to make sure that everything's cool with them. And what I was saying with before I definitely interrupted myself is that Cache Magnet is coming out with. A lot of people are getting their March payments right now. That's awesome. That's just fantastic that people are getting their March payments. That shows that the Cache Magnet is starting to catch up. And for me personally, I had a really bad February. So, my February, I really don't care. I mean, I've only got half my February payment, which I'm fine with. I made $50 in February. That's when I was trying to get my setup working. So it's March. I'd love to get my March stuff. But yeah, people are starting to get their March payments. That's phenomenal. All the doom and gloomers from like last fall, and even, geez, even yesterday there was, or today there was a doom and gloomer on the Cash Magnet Facebook group, complaining about the payments. And all of a sudden, bam, there's February and March payments coming out. So, yeah, my ER5 is connected via my access point is connected via PoE on it, and PoE is power over Ethernet. I believe I'm saying that right, hopefully. And basically all that means is that you don't need a power cord for it. Fancy word for saying you don't need a power cord for it. So, last fall last winter when I started, getting this all in my head to make this big cash magnet set up, so many people were pulling out a cash magnet. I've used Swagbucks forever, and I'd done Perk since like last July, and they're good apps, but too often you're just hitting buttons, and that sucks. Like with Swagbucks here, you know, I've made some good money with Swagbucks. I really have. But the only way you can really make good money on Swagbucks is surveys. Well, lucky me, I finally got banned from surveys because the only way to make money on surveys was to be who you're not, and I guess I answered too many bad questions, and so they finally booted me from their surveys, which was great. It really was. Getting booted from the surveys is what really led me into the phone farming stuff. I'd always done their apps. While I'm here, I'll show you something that I definitely do. I do this every day on Swagbucks. Is I print off their coupons. Now, I did this earlier. I should have waited. Now that I think about it, but you don't actually have to print them. You just print to PDF, and you just save the PDF file. Along those lines, what I also do is, and I don't know if how many people actually use this or not, is I go to MyPoints. Now, MyPoints is actually owned by Swagbucks, and you can do the same things here, which is actually awesome because I print the same exact grocery coupons at the same time. And let's see I wonder if it'll show me this or not. Oh, okay. So there's my coupon that I printed yesterday. 90 points. Now, their redemption is different. It's like 3,900 points as opposed to or 30. Is it 30? Well, it doesn't matter. It's not quite as, what is it, 39,000 for a $25 gift card, Amazon, where Swagbucks is 25,000 or 22,000 if you get the first one. But so you'll see, I double dipped. I got 135 off of the same coupons. I don't know if there's other sites you could do that off of. It's just something I quickly do every day. But for the most part, that's all I do on Swagbucks is that. I'll do the Swago, which I think it's available now. The The bong noise that you're hearing, that's not a bong. I'm a vapor. Just so I had somebody ask me about that, and no, I'm just a vapor. My pothead days are long gone. But the Swago, that's something I actually do. I definitely waste brain cells by doing it, and but that is by far the only manual thing that things that I do for Swagbucks. If their apps aren't passive, I don't touch them. So, and same thing. The encraves used to run great on Swagbucks and my points. I would run them both, and back in the day when I was really into Swagbucks, I would try to run encraves 24/7. I was making $2 a day just running the encraves, and but now I forget to even check because they're generally not available. So yeah, for me, I'm and hopefully most of you, hopefully you guys aren't doing these damn surveys. You know, it sucks. I mean, you get disqualified. 213 points. Are you really going to get 213 points? It takes you 23 minutes to get 213 points. Well, we all know that it's not going to take 23 minutes. And this is for what? 213 points here is what, a buck, maybe a little more. Are you even going to qualify for it? So that's my kind of my rant on the whole non-passive income. That's why I have the 52 cash magnet phones, is so I don't have to sit there and click buttons. I get it. It's easy money to sit there and click buttons, but you know, I went to college so I don't have to click buttons. you know, um, I click enough buttons, with my full time job. So I definitely can do without. Um, so back to the whole cash bang. The thing is, just hold off on those payments. Don't think that cash magnets you know gonna fold, because bam, all of a sudden they're coming out with 2 months of payments. And this is after people were grumbling and complaining and quitting. you know Cash magnet lost a bunch of people last year with the whole advertiser thing, where they had advertisers pay out, and they didn't pay Cash Magnet. Well, unlike a notable YouTube personality who, when he didn't get paid by the advertisers, he just didn't pay anybody. Well, Cash Magnet manned up and said, "Okay, we owe you. We owe you guys. So we're going to pay you. We're going to pay you." And they did. And it clogged up the whole payment system. I couldn't even imagine how many thousands and thousands of dollars that they lost because of that. And they've been, it's been, when did that whole debacle start? Like August, September, right around there. And so they've been trying to catch up ever since. So, they're catching up. And how I look at their payments is, I don't look at if you cash out on let's say June 1st. I look at if you cash out on June 30th, you know. So if you're just getting your February payments now, or your February 30th payment, February 30th, really? There's 30 days in February. your February 28th payment. So if you're getting that, you look. So you're waiting through March, you're waiting through April, you're waiting through May. Okay, so that's 3 months. It's not 4 months. It's 3. That's the way I look at it. Now, I always expect to wait another month. So it's kind of like when I pay my credit cards. When I put something on my credit card on let's say June 1st, I don't have to pay it until possibly July, possibly August. Don't get me started on the credit card thing. I'll rant your ears off on that. So I mean, I know some people, they definitely use this money for income. It helps to pay the light bill. Hopefully, hopefully not many of you have to do that. Hopefully most of this is just kind of play money for y'all. And that, you start looking at, doing some reinvesting in this. Take this money and buy more phones. Look at getting all wild and crazy and doing a setup like mine. You can do a setup like mine for, minus the phones for, under $500. My tech guy, who I'll put the link. Actually, if you're interested in doing that, get a hold of me on Facebook. I don't want to put his email down there. I think he'd be okay with it, but I didn't ask him first. So if you're really, if you're interested in doing a setup like mine, get a hold of me on Facebook. And, and you can always ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. The more people Cash Magnet gets, the more stable they remain, and hopefully the longer their business will continue. All right. Well, I've definitely probably taken up too much of your afternoon, haven't I? So hopefully everybody's having a great day, and you're updating all those games. Jeez, I think there was around 10 or so. So, all right. Well, everybody take care, and keep up that phone farming. Make sure and give that a whirl with the perk. Try it out. It's working perfect. I might. I'm going to have to dust off a few of my phones that I'm actually not using. I'm not sure if there's a limit on Perk Word. I know there's a 500 point limit on Vigil. And I think there's either a 500 or 1,000 limit on Perk TV Live, which actually works very well for me. It didn't for the longest time, but works now. But I don't know if there's a limit on Perk Word. If anybody knows, please throw that down in the comments section. So, okay. Well, thank you all, and hopefully everybody had a enjoyable time. I know I did. And I will catch you all another time. Thanks for before I get to there, be sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell so you know when I'm throwing up a video or I get all wild and crazy and go live. So, all right, thanks all.